وشياطين المثبطة عن الخير مصفدة، وأبواب النار مغلقة، وأبواب الجنة مفتحة، والمنادي ينادي كل ليلة بأمر الله: يا باغي الخير هلم، ويا باغي الشر أقصر. وينبغي أن لا يعرج في هذا الشهر الشريف على غير عمل آخرة، ولا تدخل في شيء من الأعمال من
تعرج. ألا تعرج وتجري.
آه. ألا تعرج في هذا الشهر الشريف على غير عمل الآخرة، ولا تدخل في شيء من أعمال الدنيا إلا إن كان ضروريا. واجعل شغلك بأمر المعاش في غير رمضان وسيلة إلى الفراغ للعبادة فيه، وخص العشر الأواخر منه وخص العشر الأواخر منه بمزيد إقبال على الله ولزوم للعبادة. وإن أمكنك أن تخرج من المسجد في هذه العشر إلا إلى ما لا بد منه فافعل. وعليك بصلاة التراويح في كل ليلة من رمضان، وقد جرت العادة في بعض البلاد بتخفيفها جدا، حتى ربما وقع بسبب ذلك في ترك بعض الأركان فضلا عن السنن. والمعروف من فعل السلف توزيع القرآن من أوله إلى آخره على هذه الصلاة، كل ليلة يقرؤون منه فيها شيئا حتى يختموه في بعض الليالي من آخر الشهر، فإن أمكن أن تقضي بهم في ذلك فالغنيمة الغنيمة، وإلا فلا أقل من إتمام
فلا أقل.
وإلا فلا أقل من إتمام أركان الصلاة والمحافظة على آدابها، وعصي المراقبة لليلة القدر التي هي خير من ألف شهر، وهي ليلة المباركة التي يفرق فيها كل أمر حكيم. ومن كشف بها رأى الأنوار ساعدة، وأبواب
رأى
السماء
الأنوار
ساعدة،
ساطعة.
نعم. وأبواب السماء مفتحة، والملائكة تسعد وتنزل، ربما رأى الموجودات كلها ساجدة لله تعالى الذي خلقها. وجمهور العلماء على أنها في العشر الأواخر من رمضان، وفي الأوتار من أرجى. وقد كشف بها بعض العارفين ليلة السابع عشر، وإليه ذهب الحسن البصري. وقال بعض العلماء إنها أول ليلة من رمضان، وذهب جماعة من الأكابر إلى أنها ليست ليلة مخصوصة، ولكنها تنتقل في ليالي رمضان. وقالوا السر في ذلك أن يسير المؤمن في كل ليلة من هذا الشهر في غاية من الإقبال على الله تعالى وعلى طاعته، رجاء أن يصادف هذه الليلة التي قد أبهمت عليه، والله أعلم. وعليك بتعجيل الفطور عند تيقن الغروب، وتأخير السحور وما لم يخشى الوقوع في الشك، وبتفطير صائمين ولو على تمرات أو شربة من الماء، فإن فطر صائما كان له مثل أجره لا ينقص ذلك من أجره شيئا. واجتهد على ألا تفطر ولا تفطر صائما إلا على طعام حلال. وعلى
ألا تفطر أنت ولا تفطر صائما. I think both verbs are the same. لا تفطر ولا تفطر صائما إلا طعام. وعليك بالتقليل من الأكل.
وعليك بالتكليل من الأكل وتناول الموجود من الحلال من غير إثار لطيب الملائم، فإن مقصود الصوم كسر الشهوات واتساع في الأكل وقصد الطيبات، لا يكسرها ولكنه يقويها ويهيجها. وعليك بصيام الأيام التي ورد الشرع بترغيب في صيامها كيوم عرفة لغير الحاج.
عرفة.
نعم، كيوم عرفة لغير الحاج، ويوم عاشوراء وتاسوعة والست من شوال، وابتدأ فيها من الثاني يوم العيد، فإن ذلك أبلغ في رياضة النفس.
وابتدئ فيها من ثاني.
وابتدئ فيها من ثاني يوم العيد، فإن ذلك أبلغ في رياضة النفس. وعليك بصيام ثلاثة أيام في كل شهر، فإن ذلك يعدل صيام الدهر. وإن تخيرت له الأيام البيض فهو أحسن، لأنه عليه الصلاة والسلام كان لا يدع صيامها حضرا ولا سفرا. وعليك بإكثار من الصوم مطلقا، ولا سيما في الأوقات الفاضلة كأشهر الحرم حرم حرم
حرم.
حرم والأيام الشريفة.
حرم.
حرمنا والأيام الشريفة كالاثنين والخميس واعلم أن الصيام كتب الرياضة وأساس المجاهدة وقد ورد أن الصوم نصف الصبر وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كل أمل ابن آدم يضاعف له الحسنة بعشر أمثالها إلى 700 ضعف قال الله تعالى إلا الصيام فإنه لي وأنا أجزي به يدع شهوته وطعامه وشرابه من أجلي لصائم فرحة عند فطره والفرحة عند لقاء ربه ولا حلوف فهم الصائم أطيب عند الله من ريح المسك والله يقول الحق وهو يهدي السبيل.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والجنة للموحدين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the choicest of blessings and salutations upon our master Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Imam al-Haddad rahimahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala, in the his book of assistance Risalatul Mu'awana, has reached the chapter that speaks about the month of Ramadan. And you may think that we are still far away from the month of Ramadan, but the reality is that Ramadan is now only 5 months away. 130 days. 3, 6, 9, 12. 4 months and something. No, something. Rabi'a Thani is coming to an end now. When Rabi'a Thani started, we were 5 months away and it was coming to an end. It's just over 4 months left for the month of Ramadan. The Salaf al-Salih from the Sahaba and those who came after would prepare themselves for the month of Ramadan 6 months prior to the month of Ramadan. 5 months after Ramadan, they would try to preserve what they managed to achieve during the month of Ramadan. And in the 6 months prior to Ramadan, they would strive to prepare themselves for the next Ramadan. So they lived lives that was Ramadan to Ramadan. Right? And maybe Ramadan, we may have thought that it's still long for Ramadan. So what a excellent reminder was, as Hafiz Muhammad said, 130 days left for the month. He said that you should increase in doing good deeds, especially in the month of Ramadan. For in the month of Ramadan, the reward of a supererogatory act equals the reward of a compulsory act. 2 raka'at sunnah salah equals 2 raka'at of fard. A 10 rand sadaqah equals the reward of 10 rand zakah. Every sunnah earns you the reward of a fard. Now, and for every fard you get the reward of 70 fards. My 2 raka'ats before Fajr equals the reward of fard salah of Fajr. And my fard salah of Fajr equals the reward of 70 fard salahs. And that alone should tell you how merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is and how giving Allah is in the month of Ramadan. When Allah increases reward, Allah either increases the reward for an action on account of a time that you are passing through, or on account of a space that you find yourself in. Right? If you find yourself within the Haram of Makkah, within the city of Makkah, then the reward for every salah is 100,000 times. Showing you how precious and valuable and sacred those lands are to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you find yourself in the month of Ramadan, then the reward for every fard is times 70. Not just salah, every fard, every sunnah. Sadaqah, salah, you name it. Any sunnah act that I do, I receive the reward as if it was a compulsory act. And every compulsory act equals the reward of 70 compulsory acts. Now, so he said increasing good deeds in the month of Ramadan, and as we find ourselves 130 days away from that month, prepare yourselves to increase in good deeds. Man by his nature is not capable of waking up one morning and decide. He can't wake up one morning and decide he's going to do a lot of good. Man doesn't have that capacity. He can wake up one morning and decide to do a lot of good for one day, yes. Maybe 2 days, maybe 3. But you can't just wake up one day and decide he's going to do a lot of good and expect to be consistent in doing that. It's impossible. And therefore you find most Muslims around the world, when the month of Ramadan enters, they are able to do good for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and before you know it, they're no longer in the masjid. They don't make tarawih, they stop reading Quran, because there's no preparation. Imam Haddad is now preparing us for the month of Ramadan. If you start doing good deeds now, and you start increasing slowly, every second week, everything will happen. When Ramadan enters, you'll be accustomed to ibadah. And you see this all the time. People that are not accustomed to ibadah waste time. Doesn't matter where they are. You can take somebody and put him right in front of the Kaaba. You can give him a hotel room where he sees the Kaaba 24/7. He sees the Qubbah of Rasulullah 24/7. If he's not accustomed to ibadah, khalas, he can't. He doesn't have capacity to make ibadah. So no matter what aspirations I have for the month of Ramadan, if I don't train my nafs to be accustomed to sitting in the masjid, to sitting in a class of knowledge, to sit down reading the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to sit down making dhikrullah, to sit down reciting Quran, it doesn't matter what intentions I make, if I don't start training myself to engage in ibadah during the month of Ramadan. Then Ramadan will come and it will go and it will benefit me nothing. Wasted opportunities that slips through my fingers. And now the call is for preparation. Start now with little ibadah, so the time when Ramadan comes, you are accustomed to ibadah, and thus you'll be able to take maximum benefit from the month. Now, he said that in Ramadan, Allah makes things easy and grants you to be active in doing good deeds like you don't find ease in any other month. Now, and he gave reasons for that. The shayateen are tied up, the doors of Jannah are locked, the doors of Jannah opened up, and there's a caller that calls out every night during the month of Ramadan, Ya Baghi al-Khair, O you who desire good, Aqbil, Halum, come forward, come and receive the khair that you want from Allah, Allah is giving. Wa Ya Baghi al-Sharri, Aqsir, but you who desires bad and evil and harm for yourself, be negligent. Don't come forward, don't come to the masjid, don't make your tarawih, don't increase in tilawatul Quran. When I don't increase in good in the month of Ramadan, then it means that my soul is responding to that call, oh, you desire bad for himself, hold back. So what does my soul do when Ramadan enters? Increase or hold back? What announcement is my soul paying attention to? The announcement that says, oh, you desire good, come forward, increase in good. Or is my soul listening to the announcement, oh, you desire evil for yourself, hold back? Now, he said that you should not spend your time in the month of Ramadan, except you should be engaged in good deeds. Imam Haddad is saying a believer, in this passage here, he says a believer should prepare himself during the course of the year to free himself for the month of Ramadan. Completely free yourself for the month of Ramadan to engage in ibadah. Right? وَجَعَلْ شُغْلَكَ بِأَمْرِ الْمَعَاشِ فِي غَيْرِ رَمَضَانِ وَسِيلَةً الْفَرَاغِ لِلْعِبَادَةِ فِيهِ. He says, take the whole year to earn whatever money you need to earn, to receive whatever possessions you need to receive, so that the time Ramadan comes and you don't need to work for dunya, you don't need to worry about income, you can now dedicate yourself to Allah. Right? Of course, somebody that works a 8 to 5 job doesn't have such luxury because his work is broken up into months. But somebody that doesn't work such a job, I'm a contractor or I'm a businessman right? Alhamdulillah, if you're a student at madrasa, you're in ibadah every day in any case. If you're teaching deen also, you're every day engaging in ibadah. You're from those who are fortunate. But somebody that is working outside, earning a living for himself, Imam Haddad says, increase in earning your living during the course of the year such that you earn enough money when Ramadan enters, khalas, dedicate yourself to Allah. To Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وَخُصَّ الْعَشْرَ الْأَوَاخِرِ, and of the entire month, dedicate yourself even more to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by turning to Him and engaging in ibadah. And during the last 10 days, he said, if it's possible for you not to leave the masjid at all, unless when it's entirely necessary to do so, faf'al, then do that. He thus encourages us to perform the i'tikaf. Now, you and I must ask ourselves that, are these admonishments, are these lessons, are these encouragements going to be words that enter our ears today, and when we leave this hall, that's it? Do I still feel within my heart that Ramadan is still far away? There's still a lot of things for me to do before Ramadan. To what extent are these encouragements reaching our hearts that Ramadan is close by? And if I want to take benefit, I need to prepare. If I need to recite more khatams. I need to make more dhikr. I need to look at myself. How much khatams did I read last Ramadan? How can I recite more in the upcoming Ramadan? How was it possible for Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala to complete a khatam of the Quran every night and a second khatam during every day? 60 juz of the Quran every day in every 24 hours. What preparation did he put in to be able to achieve that? His preparation to complete 2 khatams a day in Ramadan was the fact that through the rest of the year he was reading 1 khatam of the Quran. Right? And if I was to use that as a yardstick, it means that if I'm reciting a half a juz of the Quran daily, perhaps I'll manage 1 juz in the month of Ramadan and complete 1 khatam. If I'm reading 1 juz, perhaps I'll manage 2. If I'm reading 2, perhaps I'll manage 4. But everyone must be honest with themselves, even students of knowledge. How often do you read the Quran? Are you even reading a half a juz every day? Are you reading 1 juz? Our scholars, they say the minimum Quran a believer should be reciting daily is 1 juz of the Quran. How much am I reading? Some of us for the past week haven't recited a juz. Some of us for the past month haven't recited 1 juz of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can I be a student of deen? I'm not reading the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. So don't let this just pass by as another dars, as another encouragement. The Shaykh is just saying, sharing more words or more. No. Take heed. Ramadan is special. There are secrets given out in the month of Ramadan. Allah grant people openings in the month of Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has changed lives in the month of Ramadan. The Quran was revealed in the month of Ramadan. Whatever desire you have, sainthood, wilayah, openings, whatever you want, you can receive it in the month of Ramadan. So I'm at a junction now where I can either take this encouragement and forget about it, or I can take it serious and actually start implementing a system in my life that prepares me for Ramadan. My family, my children, I can create systems that can benefit me. Or I can take things for granted, continue wasting my time, and Ramadan will enter in 130 days time, and then I will wake up and I'll be active for the first 4 or 5 days, maybe 10 days, and then the rest of the month will just go to waste. May Allah make us from those that take ultimate benefit from the month of Ramadan, increase in good during the month of Ramadan. And there's so many beautiful programs happening within our communities these days. And there's no excuse. There's daily classes, there's daily discourses, there's daily dhikrs. There's so much for us to engage in. Right? And the students of the Dar, subhanAllah, of the students of the Dar, there's about a 2% that attends the programs. Maybe you're attending programs elsewhere that we're not aware of. But the students of knowledge in this Dar, males and females, their participation in the programs of the mashayikh, the teachers of the school and the teachers of other institutions, is very poor. Right? And I have husnul dhan that maybe there are other programs that we are unaware of that you are participating in. But in a general sense, the programs offered by the mashayikh and the students of our teachers, the participation of our students are very poor. At the Friday Mawlud here at the center, there's about 2% of our students that attend the Mawlud. The Mawlud here on a Friday night is one of the greatest resources for you and I to draw close to Allah on a weekly basis. One of the greatest resources to receive openings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To connect to that chain of the Ahlul Bayt that leads up to the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And most of the teachers of the madrasa are here every Friday night, but the students, I don't know what students are busy doing. Ajib. Don't let these opportunities pass you by. A student is only a complete student if he's focusing on his inner and his outer. Most of the ulum shar'iyya you receive here at the madrasa focuses on the outer. Now, when are you developing spiritually? When are you sitting in gatherings where there are outpourings of mercy and openings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and madad? When are you participating in programs that are connected to our mashayikh and our teachers? So the students of the dar over here should make serious intentions to start participating in the various programs that we have running. Even if it seems distant from your classes of knowledge that you are receiving here, but your openings you may receive over there. You may be struggling with Nahu in the mornings, and then your opening for Nahu, your opening in your understanding of Nahu may be in a gathering of dhikr. Right? You don't know where Allah is going to open up for you. You may be struggling with fiqh here at the madrasa, and then your opening may be found in a dhikr that happens on a Thursday evening or Friday evening. And then you're depriving yourself from receiving those openings. Why? I don't know. May Allah allow us to see our students more often in our programs. Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. He then said that you should be particular about performing Salatul Taraweeh every night of the month of Ramadan. Imam Haddad then spoke out against a practice where people shorten the Taraweeh so much so that they don't even properly fulfill the arkan of Salah. That is something which is disliked. Never mind disliked, if you're not fulfilling the arkan of Salah, your prayer is invalid. It would be impermissible and haram. Right? So he spoke out against that. And he also said that the practice of the Salaf was that they would break up the Quran over the Taraweeh prayer during the course of Ramadan to complete the Khatam in the Taraweeh. And that is something which is praiseworthy. However, on this here, it's important to note that while our community has developed in a sense that there's barely a masjid within our community these days, save that they complete a full recitation of the Quran, and that is something very praiseworthy and beautiful. It's also important to ensure that in every, I don't know how many kilometer radius, there should be a masjid that doesn't actually recite the Khatam of the Quran. There should be a masjid that performs shorter Taraweeh. And when I say shorter Taraweeh, I don't mean shortening the actual number of rak'ah. Every masjid should pray 20 rak'at of Taraweeh, as was the practice of this ummah generation after generation after generation. And one should not have such audaciousness to want to go against the practice of generations of the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Irrespective of what fiqh you may have, or what daleel you may have, or what understanding you may have, even if you believe that Taraweeh should be 5 rak'ats or 7 rak'ats or 8 rak'ats, doesn't matter what you believe. I should always feel that my understanding and my belief and my research is nothing compared to the generations of the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So while I may feel in one way, what the ummah has done is better than what I could ever, whatever deduction I could reach by myself can never compare to generation after generation after generation of hundreds of thousands of millions of ulama that have been practicing in a certain way, who am I to want to imagine that I know better than them? So, however, by shortening I mean is recite short surahs. Recite from Alam Tara Kayfa till the end of the Quran, from Wadduha till the end of the Quran. Make Tarawih short and easy for people. And that is not an encouragement for all masajid, no. If most masajid can recite the khatam of a Quran, then that is better and preferred. But within every certain radius, if we could have masajid that don't read a khatam, that perform short tarawih, to accommodate for people who cannot stand for a full khatam in salah, then that is preferred. So if you have a masjid, an example of this would be the Mount View Masjid, where they recite tarawih very short and the masjid remains packed to capacity from the beginning of the month till the end of the month. Right? And I shouldn't look down upon anybody that go praise the short tarawih over there, because they're accommodating for people that is not so pious like you, mashallah, who stand for the full Quran 20 rak'ah. Even though if I must really do a census here, I'm sure the majority of you don't even stand for the full 20 rak'ahs for the entire month. But I won't do that census now. I cannot look down upon them, especially that person is praying 20 rak'ahs. By our ulama, to pray 20 rak'ahs of tarawih without completing a khatam in the month of Ramadan is more virtuous than praying less than 20 rak'ahs every night and completing a khatam. Somebody who prays 2 rak'ahs and finishes a khatam in the month of Ramadan is not better than the person who prayed 20 rak'ahs, even if that person only finished 1 juz of the Quran during Ramadan. Now, so Imam Haddad said it's encouraged that the khatam be recited. Yes, we must encourage. And what our community has achieved, Mawlana Yusuf Karan, rahimahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala, was very passionate about encouraging masajid to complete the khatam during the month of Ramadan. And it must be stated very clearly that that is an amazing achievement and it's very praiseworthy. But at the same time, it's important that we don't ignore people in the community that cannot stand for a full khatam of the Quran. And if you're going to read a full khatam of the Quran, they're not going to make 20 rak'ahs of tarawih. There should be a masjid close by to them where they can actually go in and read Alam Tara Kayfa till the end and perform quickly 20 rak'ahs of tarawih and go home to rest if they need to rest. We should have such masajid that accommodate for that. And when I say short, I mean very short. If I decide that I'm going to read a half juz or I'm going to read a quarter juz, then it doesn't make a big difference. The minute you're reading a quarter till a half juz, your tarawih is just as long as a masjid that is reading a full juz. There's barely any difference. When I say short, I mean really short. What do they recite at Mount View? Eh? Don't they read the last few surahs? Either way, what the Zawiyah does, what does the Zawiyah do? I think some masajid they used to read Alam Tara Kayfa Kul Wallahu Ahad. They do that. Al-Muhim, the important was when I say short, I mean very short. So that people that cannot stand for 20 rak'ahs can go to a masjid where the 20 rak'ahs are performed swiftly. Even if you feel lazy and I feel like, I can't go, I'm too tired to go to masjid this evening, there should be an option for you to go quickly to a masjid where even though you're tired, you can pray 20 rak'ahs and come home. Right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Now, otherwise, he said the Salaf of the Sad al-Ba'alawi, they used to complete a khatam during the month of Ramadan, and that khatam they used to complete any time during the last 10 days of Ramadan. Now, however, our Shaykh, Sayyid al-Alama al-Habib Umar bin Muhammad bin Sa'id bin Hafid, his practice is that Habib Umar completes his khatam on the 17th of Ramadan. Because on the 17th of Ramadan was the night of Badr. So he reads just under 2 juz every night to complete the khatam of the 17th. And in the balance of the month, he will try to complete the second khatam in Tarawih. Allah grant us such himmah. And then over and above the Tarawih prayers, we have Salatul Layls. We have Salatul Layls in our community. And the Salatul Layl sometimes happens before taking rest, and sometimes it happens after taking rest. If it happens after taking rest, it's called tahajjud. If it happens before taking rest, it's called salatul layl. And that salatul layl, ideally your first intention you should make in your salatul layl is to complete your witr. Because witr is the most virtuous sunnah salah. Salatul layl and tahajjud salah is what the scholars call nafil mutlaq. A nafil mutlaq is only something you should be performing when there is no legislated salah to make. Right? So when Taraweeh is legislated, I can't make Qiyamul Layl. Because in a sense, Qiyamul Layl would refer to any salah that is performed after Maghrib until I go sleep. Even my Fard salah is called Qiyamul Layl, my Taraweeh is called Qiyamul Layl. But I'm making the intention in my Qiyamul Layl when I'm performing Taraweeh, what niyyah do I make? The niyyah of Taraweeh. So when I go to the Layl program and I already prayed 20 raka'at of Taraweeh and I go to a Layl program, I can't make a niyyah for another 2 rakats of Taraweeh. I already prayed the maximum. So what should I do? In the masjid, I only pray 3 rakats of witr. So when I go to the Layl program, the best niyyah for me to make is the niyyah of witr. Because the full number of witr is 11 rak'ah. I should make the niyyah of witr. If I don't go to a Layl program, I go sleep and then I come to a tahajjud program, similarly I should make the niyyah of witr. It's still classified as tahajjud, but my niyyah I should make is the niyyah of witr. Because there's no prayer more virtuous after the 5 compulsory prayers than the Salatul Witr. No. He then said that one should look out for the night of power, Laylatul Qadr. Ya Rabb, allow us to reach Ramadan. Ya Rabb, allow us to be from those who are fasting, and from those who are in the masjid, and from those who are performing Taraweeh, and from those who are praying witr with the Imam. If I'm a Hafid of the Quran, allow me to lead the Taraweeh prayer. If I'm not Hafid, then I cannot lead the Taraweeh. Ya Rabb, allow our ears to listen to the Quran. Allow us to be part of the Qiyamul Layls. Allow us to be part of the Salatul Tahajjud. Ya Rabb, allow us to be part of the Witriyah that we have after the Salatul Taraweeh. We have a beautiful gathering every night. Allow us to be part of the classes that take place by the various ulama and the mashayikh, especially our mashayikh. When I say our mashayikh, I refer to the mashayikh teachers at the madrasa and the mashayikh of mahabba in a specific sense, and in a more general sense, all mashayikh in our community allow us to be part of their programs and part of their gatherings and part of the khair. Allah allow us and our parents to reach Ramadan. How many people won't make it to Ramadan this year? You and I don't know if I'm going to reach. Perhaps by preparing, even if I don't reach, Allah will grant me the reward as if I have reached. But if I waste time and I don't prepare and I don't reach, I won't even get that reward. Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. Oh Allah, allow us and our parents, our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, for those of us who have, our siblings, our teachers, our students, our children, Ya Rabb, allow us all to reach Ramadan, and may this Ramadan be our best Ramadan. A Ramadan of openings, a Ramadan of closeness to you and your Rasul, a Ramadan of Quran. Ya Rabb, allow us to taste the sweetness of your kalam in this Ramadan. Ya Rabb, let us taste the sweetness of your kalam in this Ramadan. Let us taste the sweetness of being in communion with you. Allahumma khussana bi musamarati kudsik. Allah. So look out for the night of power, Laylatul Qadr. And then he said Laylatul Qadr, the scholars have agreed that it's majority of scholars have agreed that it's in the last 10 days of Ramadan. Some have stated that they are observed, like Imam Nawawi, they observed it on the 27th of Ramadan. Now, however, Laylatul Qadr is not restricted to the last 10 days of Ramadan, according to many other ulama. In fact, the position that many of our teachers, including Sayyid Habib Umar, ascribed to, is that the actual night when the Quran was revealed, which was Laylatul Qadr, in the year in which the Quran was revealed from the sacred tablet to the Sama'ud Dunya, to the skies of this dunya, was on the 17th of Ramadan. And that's the reason why he completes his Khatam on the 17th. When we speak about the revelation of the Quran was revealed over a period of 23 years. But the revelation of the Quran in one go, what is meant thereby is when the Quran was revealed from the Lawh Mahfuz, the sacred tablet, to the skies of this dunya. When Jibreel brought Quran to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he brought it from the Sama'u dunya to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So that revelation from the Lawh Mahfuz to the skies of this dunya, that happened on Laylatul Qadr. Shahr Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi Quran. That's the inzal that Allah speaks of. And that happened on Laylatul Qadr. And Laylatul Qadr in that year, according to many of the ulama, was the 17th of Ramadan. And that shows you how Laylatul Qadr could even be during the middle 10. Then there are a minority of scholars that even held the view that Laylatul Qadr could be during the first 10 days of Ramadan. There were even a lesser minority that believed Laylatul Qadr can even be outside of Ramadan. If I'm really worried about Laylatul Qadr, then every day is a possible Laylatul Qadr. But more than likely in Ramadan. And more than likely during the first 10 days or the last 10 days. And even more than likely during the last 10 days. Allah make us from those who are performing i'tikaf, dedicating ourselves to Allah and His Rasul. Among other advices that Imam al-Haddad gave, and the time has come to an end, wasn't read a nasheed for us. A short nasheed and then the du'a khatm al-majlis.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله. الله الله يا الله 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 يا الله، والصلاة على المختار نور المجالس. الله الله يا الله الله هو يا الله، والصلاة على المختار نور المجالس. يا الله ارحم وحضر كل من كان يبيس، واحفظ أهل العلوم النافعة والمدارس. وحي يا ربنا في العلم من كان دارس، واظهر الدين حتى ينتشر في المجالس. الله الله يا الله الله، والصلاة على المختار نور المجال، تنتفع بجميع الناس قائم وجالس. ما حيلتي إني أرى الوقت عابس، وقت مخوف ولكن رب الأرباب حارس. راحت أفكار أهلي كلها في الملابس. الله الله يا الله 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 يا الله، والصلاة على مجالس. والتقى صارت على لديهم طواميس، ضيعوا سيرة أرباب الصفات النفايس. قومهم بهجات العالم وأنس المجالس، كان وقتي بهم ناعم وصافي وآنيس. الله الله يا الله 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 يا الله، والصلاة على المختار نور ليش تشهد العين مني نور تلك العرايس. يا لذا الزمن كم فيه ذقنا النفايس، كم رأينا عجائب، كم حضرنا مدارس، كم غرسنا بها في العلم خير المغارس. الله الله يا الله 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 يا الله، والصلاة على المختار نور المجالس.
يا ربنا اعترفنا
بأننا اقترفنا وأننا أسرفنا على لظى أشرفنا، فتب علينا توبة تغسل كل حوبا، واستر لنا العورات وامن الروعات، واغفر لوالدينا ربي ومولودينا والأهل والإخوان وسائر الخلان، وكل ذي محبة أو جيرات أو صحبة، والمسلمين أجمع آمين. ربي اسمع فضلا وجودا منا، لا باكتساب منا، بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سول، بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى
بكل سول،
بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سول. صلى وسلم ربي عليه ذا الحب وآله وصحبه عداد طش الصحب، والحمد لله في البدء والتناهي. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، وسلام على المرسلين، والحمد لله رب العالمين. في كل لحظة أبدا عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزينة عرشه ومداد كلماته. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه. الفاتحة. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون، والسلام على المرسلين، الحمد لله رب العالمين.